3, 2, and 1.
Welcome back to another edition of Streetpreneur Podcast. We have a great episode for you today. We're going to talk about business credit and personal credit. I have a very special guest. She's been in the business for years. She goes by Mrs. Cashflow. She is a certified financial education instructor who helps entrepreneurs access funding up to $150,000 and also help build and leverage your personal credit as well as your business credit. And I want to welcome Mrs. Cashflow to Streetpreneur Podcast. I want everybody to really tune into this episode. Take notes. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to definitely help change your life and all those things that you've been wanting to do and need to do. And you're also going to learn about the discipline and also how to manage personal credit as well as business credit. And for those who are first time here, I'm Melvin McNeil. I'm the host of Streetpreneur Podcast, where we help aspiring business owners, startup companies, and also established entrepreneurs come here today to find information and to get the knowledge of what they need to grow and also to fund their businesses. So we're going from streetpreneurs to entrepreneurs, and I want to welcome my guest, Mrs. Cashflow. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so very much for having me. This is such a joy to be here the second time, for sure.
Yes. A lot of our followers and our listeners, definitely requested you to come back and to definitely give some more knowledge, give an update. It's 2025. I know it's been almost a year since you were here the first time, and there's a lot more changes have taken place in the world since then, and also changes as far as credit is concerned throughout the world. So just tell us a little bit about where you're from for those who are meeting you for the first time.
Well, I am from Chicago. I now reside here in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's amazing here. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I was a network analyst for many years, got terminated on the streets, and I decided at that point that the workforce was not stable. Corporate America was not. I was fired 2 days before Thanksgiving. Led me to the Airbnb industry, where I went and I killed. And the only reason I killed it was because it was a blue ocean at the time. So it wasn't that I was a master entrepreneur, but I did scale it up to multiple six figures. Lost that business because I neglected to build business credit on the guise of my mentor at the time. And this is where you see me now. That's why I'm here talking to you now.
All right. Well, I have a very interesting question for you. Just kind of starting off. We want to talk about securing the funding. How does someone get a $50,000 line of credit with no personal guarantee?
That is an excellent question, yes. And a lot of people like to ask that because it's a fallacy in the beginning. Okay. So I'll simply put. So a bank will give you money for three reasons: for credit, collateral, or cash flow. So if you do not want to use a personal guarantee, meaning, so when people say PG, that's personal guarantor. So your personal credit guaranteeing the loan, that means you have to rely on the other two. That's cash flow and that's collateral. Collateral will be any machinery, any equipment, anything that has a serial number attached to it, or real estate, right? And then your cash flow would be the amount of money that's coming into your banking account. So if you're bringing in like $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, like even up to $75,000 a month, you will, and your credit isn't the greatest, and you don't want to PG it. Your money is now the person, the guarantor of the loan. You will fall privy or victim, I want to say, to MCA lending, which is, they call it's merchant cash advances. So they disguise it in working capital or they name it something else. But any loan where the repayment terms are daily or weekly, and then they're telling you weekly the interest rate is 4.999%, you need to multiply that by 4. So 20%, 30%, 50% on the money. And that's where people get into trouble.
Okay, good information. We all definitely need to know that. We want to talk about the 5 credit factors and which one should people focus on.
Are you talking about the 5 data points on the personal credit profile?
Yes.
Well, all 5. They all matter. There's like a pointing system right now. So when you first start out with your credit, what you want to call it, everyone is lended 350 points. They start out with 350 points with the ability to gain 500 additional points. So what they do for FICO, they split it up and saying within those 500 possible points you can gain, we're going to divvy it up into a percentage of those 500 points. So a percentage of those 500 points, 10% will be the inquiries, the amount of lending you're going out and asking for. That if you multiply 0.10 times 500 points, that equals 50 points. So you can gain a possible 50 points by having no inquiries. I hope this is making sense. And then with high credit card utilization will be another data point. And what that is the percentage of credit card usage you have on each credit card, not as a whole. Each, okay? And that is 30%. So if you multiply 0.30 times the 500 points, what are we looking at, 175?
Yeah, in that range.
Yeah, so you have a possible 175 points to gain or lose, giving how much credit you're using on the actual credit cards. Limit amounts that has already been extended to you. Then you have your credit age. We want to be somewhere, the perfect age will be about 5 years. But if you're not there yet, you want to be at least 2 to 3 years old before you start asking for business funding. That makes up 10% as well. No, I think that makes up 15%. And then 10% will make up your mix of credits, which is credit cards and loans from a bank.
I want to talk about a lot of people right now with high interest rates as far as groceries, entertainment, as far as personal shopping right now. There are a lot of the buy now, pay later programs that are out right now. And they was talking about how is that going to affect credit utilization, and a lot of people are going in debt because they can't, like you said, they don't have the funding to be able to pay for things up front anymore in cash or just through the credit if they have good credit. And they're using these before pay and these after pay program. How is that affecting people's credit scores?
To be honest, I'm so immersed in business funding
that it's a
I'm not even like, but what I would say, if anyone is needing that sort of service, you need to be conservative. You need to do without, right? So I have a lot of people in my family, they're not at the level that they need to be financially. And what I've learned is just over this past week itself, because I encountered some family who visited me. People who are struggling like financially, they need to start with Money Management 101. They like to enjoy and splurge. So I'll give you an example, and I wasn't even thinking to talk about this. I had a family member that was there, and I'm not going to say who it is. And so I shopped. So a lot of clothes came out because I had an event the other day, right? So a lot of clothes came in, but a lot needed to be returned. So this person is on a fixed income. Like they get disability, like maybe $900 a month. And they were like, hey, I'll buy that shirt from you and you don't return it. And I'm like, why would you pay $100 for a shirt? And they was like, well, you can't fit it. So here's what I would say to people who need to use that sort of service. You need to get real with yourself. I don't know if this system is out, but it's called Mint.com. Years ago, I may be dating myself, but when I first got into Money Management 101, you link all, I do know. I think it's now linked to Credit Karma. It just came to my mind, just thinking about it. So Credit Karma has a service called Mint.com attached to it. You will attach all your credit cards, all your banking accounts, and you will create a budget for yourself. If you're in a position where you find yourself having to use services like that, you have to cut back. Just the example with the family member who only gets like $900 a month trying to purchase a $100 shirt from me. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So now is the time to sacrifice and do without. If you got to weave, grow it out. Afro time. Seriously.
I got you. I know, because a lot of people have bad spending habits. Yeah. Because like you said, money management is needed. So
100%.
Let's get back to the business banks. So I want to talk about business banks. What are the best business banks for business credit, line of credits? I'm just going to start with maybe just say $50K and up.
Okay.
Since that's the most requested, I hear people talking about on social media is the most.
I know. So here's the beauty of it is any institution, most of them, if they have business products, you can get what is known as a no documentation loan, which is a business line of credit, right? And that's all of them. PNC, Bank of America, Chase, those are some of my favorite. Key Bank, Truist. U.S. Bank is very, very conservative, guys. So if you going to U.S. Bank, they are, it's no personal guarantor, but they will ask you for some bank statements. So just because it's advertised or you think that it's no PG, they still have the right to ask for documents.
And one more thing that you mentioned, what are they looking for when they review those bank statements?
They're looking for any income. Like I just made a post the other day, like I had a mentee, like they had came in and it was US Bank.
Yeah. They
came in and they were like, hey, you know, I'm a consultant. His business is categorized as being a consulting company, right?
Right.
Cool.
Right.
U.S. Bank was like, okay, your credit is great. It's 8 something. Everything checked off. The profile was powerful. The business credit profile was great.
Okay.
The problem comes in, guys. What they like to do, whatever you put on that application is Google searched. Your name, your business phone number, email, website, all of that. Right. So in that process, they saw his company connected to a True platform or some sort of car rental platform. Okay. So they're like, give us 6 months of bank statements. And guess what? The bank statements showed that platform going into that business banking account. And that's where things go wrong when it goes with no documentation. Right. So I'll give you a pro tip. Make sure all business records match everywhere. So underwrite yourself. Right. Before you go into the bank and ask for funding, Google your name, Google your business name, your business phone number, your business email address, and see what pops up. If it's anything that needs tweaking or to match all records, make sure everything matches to avoid things like that.
So that's where his red flags that came up.
Yeah, and just in that general, it's no documentation until a red flag pops up.
I got you.
Most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And what are some of the mistakes business owners make when applying for credit? I know you just told us that one. Is there any other that they need to be aware of?
Absolutely.
That you've seen denials.
Yeah. So trying to inflate the numbers. Okay. Like generally.
Give us an example of.
Like you're going in and you're asking for a credit card and you're saying I make $300,000 a year. Yeah. But I'm in this industry and the business is only 2 years old. Like, think about that for a second. Yeah, so how did you get, from zero to $300,000 with a business that's barely 2 years old, right? Yeah. And so now it has to make sense. Right. And now I'm looking at your personal credit profile. Do you have a personal credit profile of a person that is bringing in $200,000? Yeah. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Because I think it works like this. I used to be like a customer service rep. So like when I used to take 100 and something calls a day. Right. So like when you're looking at profiles, you're looking at profiles. And then you're so used to seeing something, but then something sticks out weird, but you don't know what it is. That's the person that's flagged. And in my opinion, I think that's the biggest mistake that I've seen people make is inflating that income number, and it's not making sense, and it's not matching your industry, and it's not matching your personal credit profile. Okay.
With interest rates and where we are now in this political climate, what changes have taken place within the credit bureau?
I am seeing, not with the credit bureau itself, but like with the banking system, they're being a little conservative. Like they're asking for documentation more. And they do that during recessions and during trying times. But then we'll get back to funding. So just they do this all the time. It's cyclical, guys. Right. So as soon as you're hearing like, oh, we're having issues, we're having problems, which we are, and people are having hard times retaining customers and business owners are starting to suffer. Right. But doesn't mean that you do nothing. That's when you just set yourself up to be funding ready and you just be in position.
Okay. We want to touch on business credit cards. What are some of the best business cards that are available right now with good interest rate?
Man, so 0% interest.
Top 5.
Yeah. So for me, Chase is number one. Like if you can go out and you can get you a Chase business credit card, 0%, and then next to that would be Amex. Like the suite of Amex cards, you do not have business credit unless you have the Amex Blue Cash, the Platinum, the Gold, all of that. And then any other bank. Let me say this: I can throw out a lot of banks. Right. But guys, anyone coming up under the sound of my voice, I want you to go to the bank you already have a relationship with. Okay. Relationship banking is key. So a lot of people are with PNC, or they may be with a community bank that they've been with for 2-3 years. That community bank will give you a $40,000 business line of credit before Bank of America does, because you don't have a relationship with them. So relationship is key.
Okay, definitely. That's a mouthful. And most people don't. What about credit unions?
Credit unions are great. So I like to use credit unions when you're looking to build out your personal credit profile in order to prepare for business funding. What does your personal credit profile need to look like? We need at least 2 high credit limits. It's a minimum of $2,500 and 2 years old, 2 primary credit cards that are your own on your personal credit profile. But if you are someone struggling with lower credit limits, you can use credit unions to get higher credit limits, because they like to do what is known as credit match. Going with Navy Federal, Apple Federal Credit Union, DCU. There's so many out there. All you need to do is go to ibanknet.com and search the credit unions in your city, and you start going to their websites and seeing what type of products do they offer, but definitely use them for the higher credit card limits and lower interest rates.
Okay. I want to touch on going back to what we just discussed about going to the banks. What is the process for going to multiple banks, applying for the same credit on just say within the same month? I know some people try to do it within a certain time frame to apply for credit, and they might go to 4 or 5 different banks. Just want to hear your opinion about that. I see people posting that all the time.
Yeah, being mindful, first and foremost, guys, you don't want to get yourself in trouble. So following the trends is why a lot of people are struggling right now.
But there's a lot of people
buy here, pay later type situation, because they were running out and blowing a gasket, going to get as much funding as they possibly could, but had nothing to do with it. So that money was sitting idle, and then that 0% interest funding turned to 20%. Because I can sit up here and give you that system, but is that beneficial to you? You can. So if you're mindful of what credit bureau that certain banks report to, which isn't hard, you can go to ChatGPT these days, AI, you can Google it, you can figure it out, right? You would probably work a credit bureau at a time. If you find 3 banks, Bank of America, a few of them that report to TransUnion, you go ahead and you apply for all those accounts. Then you go to Experian. Then you go to Equifax. Experian has the most banks. All right. You have so many options when it comes to Experian. And being mindful of that too can help you get some funding if negative items is reporting on one but not the other 2, so to speak.
Okay. Tell us about your new program. Do you have any new credit building or credit funding programs yourself?
I do.
Tell us about those, and just tell our aspiring business owners what you offer.
So I definitely have a mentorship. It's called Business Credit Mastery, where I transfer lives through financial literacy and funding. So what I'm going to do is build out your brand new LLC for funding, build and optimize your personal credit profile. We're going to build you out a business credit profile so you have high 8,500 plus type business credit reporting, and making sure that your business is credible, bankable, and fundable.
Okay.
And that's a 90-day program. Yeah.
All right. And what's the cost? Is there, just kind of give us
a price? You can start with nothing down.
Right.
Actually.
Okay.
So, and that's my higher ticket program. So certain people you go through
Your
like
mentorship.
That's my mentorship. No one is just automatically accepted. Like I screen them thoroughly because you need to be at a certain level in order to go into that program because we're going into funding.
Right.
But then I have my lower ticket program, which is $50 a month, which is finally funded. It's a school community where it's self-guided, and I will guide you through building out your LLC for funding.
Okay, good deal. Tell everybody how to get in contact with you.
Mrs. Cash Flows on all platforms. I have a lot of free game education, YouTube especially, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, Mrs. Cash Flows. Look me up. And you can also type the word chat on my Instagram and book a free funding readiness call for 15 minutes.
Okay. And we want to thank you for coming out and just for sharing that knowledge because we all need it. And I hope our aspiring business owners learned something today. Definitely contact Mrs. Cashflow to enroll in her program, whether it's mentorship or one of her courses. Please take advantage of it, and it definitely will change your life. And I want to thank you for coming out. And I want everybody that's watching, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for our next episode. And we want to thank you, Ms. Cashflow, for coming out.
Sound amazing. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, good deal.
That's your guy.
Yeah, that was